Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's take you with it real quick. Oh, here we are. I am in the Finger Lakes of New York. Finally made it here for those of you guys who don't know and are new to this channel. Finger Lakes of New York is where I grew up, where I spent the first 25 years of my life. So it is home to me, and a couple times a year I get to come back home, and I am fortunate enough to have enough gear as well as a kayak, plus checking a handful of bags to do some fishing. And it's really important to me because this is where I grew up fishing, where I learned to kayak fish, and it has some of the most amazing fisheries really in the country. So it's always a treat for me to come back here, and in my opinion, like a vacation. So I am super excited to be here. Just to explain things, give you guys a little time reference. I flew in, took a red eye from San Francisco last night. I got in Rochester, New York, and this morning I got up and made the 5-hour round trip to Old Forge, New York to pick up this bad boy right here. Might look familiar, might not look familiar, but it is a TitanX 10.5, just a different color than what I typically get, and picked it up at Mountain Man Outdoor Supply Company, which shout out to them. Really cool shop. I don't know if any of you guys have been up that way or towards the Adirondack Mountains, but it's a really cool shop. Has a handful of kayaks, including a few more of these bad boys if you want to pick one up. But they carry a bunch of different brands, as well as recreational kayaks. There's some really, really pretty water up that way. I'm actually bummed I didn't bring my rods and gear with me, because I should have just dropped it in one of those thousands of ponds surrounding nearby and done some fishing. But really cool shop, a lot of kayaks, and right next door is their outdoor supply shop, which has tons of camping gear. I know there's some good skiing, some snow sports up there in the wintertime, so it's got all your needs for that. They've got biking stuff, hiking, camp, just everything. So really impressed with the shop, and you guys should definitely check it out if you guys are going up that way. But anyways, went up there, got the boat, drove it back here, and it is, what time? Almost 4 o'clock. As you can see, I'm not gonna blame my mom on this. This is all my fault. This mess, this clutter. When I come home, I kinda make it look like a tornado came through here as I take over her garage, including a lot of these boxes that have been shipped here to New York over the past few months. Obviously, this boat needs some work to it. I'm gonna do a bunch of installations, customizations to it, basically what I did to the one in California, or at least what those features have, but I've been preparing for it. You know, not just ordering stuff, but I mean, I can flip you around. So there's a ton of stuff here, you know what, and I don't even remember what's in here, but I know it all has to go on this boat. But I even shipped stuff home that I started pre-assembling in California. Like I already did my switch panel for lights. There's a graph in there somewhere, and I already got that wired up and ready to go on to the boat, as well as the transducer. I think, God, what is this stuff? I think this is Bioino battery stuff. I believe that big one is the Ergo seat. We will swap out the seat, even though I think the ones that come with now are a little bit smaller in the back, which is good. Oh, this is just the reel box that I brought home. Really cool. If you guys ever travel on planes or wherever and you want to protect your reels, I used to just put them in a box with like styrofoam or whatever. This plain old reel bag is really solid to keep your reels protected during flight and for travel. So got all my reels in there. I actually rigged up a bunch of stuff last night, so it was one less thing to do, because I am fishing tomorrow. The whole point of getting all that stuff prepared and doing all the wiring and electronics in California was so that I could spend as minimal time on this rigging as possible, so when I'm here I can actually just go fishing, right? That's the whole point. But no, have a lot of accessories here that I'm just going to translate over. Of course, I just brought out the Slayer Max 10 into the yard, so this is replacing that. And you know, one thing I'll say, now that I've been in the TitanX 10.5 for, geez, like 6 months now, put a lot of hours in it. Definitely put a lot of hours on it. I definitely have it dialed. I'm really used to it. And one thing that I have to say is it reminds me, even though it's a Titan series boat, it obviously was kind of the next version of the Titan before, which I had like for 6 years. When I got this boat and started using it, this really kind of had more of Slayer Max vibes. And you guys may or may not know this, but you'll find it on the channel. I've said it many times, you can quote me on it. But I've said that the Slayer Max 10, the kayak over there, may be my overall favorite fishing kayak of all time. Now you may ask yourself, now why isn't that the one you mainly use then? Why are you always in like the bigger boats? Well, it's just kind of the nature of where I'm fishing, how I'm fishing. A lot of these tournaments over the years have grown so big, and we fish big bodies of water. You need a bigger platform, you need more space, you need all that stuff to stay competitive. But just saying, overall, what I think the best fishing kayak that I've been in is the Slayer Max 10, and that is the reason I got this boat, for the reasons I just said, because this to me had more of like Slayer Max 10 vibes, and the big components of the Slayer Max 10 vibes, so to speak, are lightweight, small package, but still has all the features you'd want in, say, a bigger boat. This has been an awesome kayak. Now, the one I have in California, I use all the time. It's got two 36 volt, 30 amp hour batteries, followed with another 12 volt 50. It's got the massive tackle trunk, probably 80 pounds of tackle. It's got the NK300, which is huge and pretty heavy. So even though it is a small package, a small boat, I loaded it up just like anyone else can do with as many features as I could. And that one just weighs a ton. I mean, you guys have seen me in that boat. I've had to use the dynamic dolly or just the wheels to transport it. This guy right here, like literally 2 fingers, this thing is a piece of cake. And if you guys have wheeled kayaks around, big, small, or whatever, you guys know kind of that sweet spot as far as weight and size of a kayak goes before wheeling it around, you know, long ramps or wherever, kind of becomes a drag. Well, I can tell you right now, this one is totally wheelable, totally doable, and will be easy to throw in the bed of the U-Haul. Oh yeah, got a U-Haul the other day, so that's the other piece of the equation. And for rigging and outfitting this boat, even though I have a million things, I'm gonna keep it light. 1 battery for the motor, a small battery for the graph, minimal tackle. So that is the plan. I've got all my stuff. I brought my tools home. Thank God for the Pelican box. My whole checked baggage was tools and parts. I think I brought like 2 shirts with me. I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But no, I'm excited to rig this boat out. It shouldn't take too long. It should take me the rest of the day for sure with all the things I'm going to do to it. But I think it's going to be fun, and I can't wait to get this out on the water here in New York. With that all said, I've got some work to do. We're going to get this boat totally outfitted, rigged up, ready to go. And with any luck, I'll see you guys a little bit later tonight, and I'll show you exactly what we've done to it. See you in a minute. Alrighty, folks, what time is it? Just about 9 o'clock. Whew, that was non-stop right there. Man, I have a lot of bloopers for the blooper reel at the end of this year. Oh, pardon my manners. Cheers. Shout out to Michael Ensign for getting these koozies like 7 years ago. Had some in New York sitting around, so figured I'd use one. Yeah, guys, let me set this down. Yeah, done with the build. Everything is pretty much complete. I gotta just dial a few more things in. There's like little things to do. I gotta finish up the foot steering, just the cabling, and then I have my amazing foam block right there that I gotta wrap with like 1,000 yards of duct tape or electrical tape. That'll pretty much be it, but I think everything is done. Everything for the most part went pretty smooth. Like I mentioned, prepped a lot of this stuff in California. Like the little details you don't think of when you do these builds, like, or at least I didn't think of, because the last build I did was really my first complex build, which was just a couple of months ago, the TitanX 12.5. So that was just a big learning experience. And I mentioned in that video, I'm not joking, I probably went to Ace Hardware, which is luckily just down the street from me. In a span of 3 days, I think I went there maybe like a dozen times. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. I probably went more, but just little tiny parts and pieces, hardware, electrical components. I don't know, just so many random little things. My point is, I did all of that stuff in California. Obviously doing the build of the 12.5 got me prepped, practiced, and I was able to do this in what, like, I don't know, 4 hours or so. The other thing too, I mean, I gotta mention this, but these boats nowadays, especially this series, the TitanX series, and even the Slayer Max series, these boats come made so that you can customize very easily. I am a novice at best at, you know, building kayaks or customizing kayaks. Granted, I had some good input from like the Wizard and other people just helped me along the way with a lot of this stuff, but even for me, these things are not that difficult, and all it really takes is a quick YouTube search to find out how to do certain things. So I figured, while I got you here, it's getting late, I still have to prep a little bit more tackle because I'm going fishing tomorrow. I'm not gonna just sit around. This is getting done tonight. I'm going fishing first thing in the morning. So let me take this camera and I'll show you exactly what we've got going on. If you guys have followed the channel, it's pretty much the same thing as every other TitanX I have, which is only 2. Little tweaks and mods here and there. And again, I have to say this because this is the whole point of this boat and why I love being in New York, is because I love having a smaller fishing kayak that I can just throw in the bed of the truck. I mean, I used to throw it in my mom's Honda CR-V over there, for crying out loud. It's just easy to go fishing. It's pretty much all loaded up. I don't hardly take off anything when I go fishing. I get there, there. I park, put the wheels down, turn some batteries on, and I'm launching. It's like literally 2 minutes to get these on the water once I get to the ramp. And that's the thing I just love about being here, the convenience, how lightweight it is. And that is what this Focus was to be, is lightweight. You can see there's really not much weight to this kayak compared to what I had on the Slayer Max. Anyways, let's go through it. First thing you'll notice, we've got a Humminbird right here, Helix 7, another 7-inch graph, a small graph. I don't know how this is gonna work. I actually mounted it on the hatch itself. Obviously in California, we've got the captain's bridge with the 2 dual graphs. Gotten used to that, and I really like having a graph up here versus like on the side of me. It just makes a lot more sense as far as the field of vision, being able to see stuff. Mounted it, actually took the handle off the hatch, and I found a 6-inch gear track, took some T-bolts, and then just bolted this into the hatch itself. Used the Yak Attack, and I'm sorry about the lighting, I know it's getting dark. Got a Yak Attack through hull kit right here for the wiring, nice and clean. And then you can actually just kind of use this graph as the handle. I shortened that cord right there, the rope, so it will never flop over completely and break the graph. And this is the electronics bin. Now, this is a 12 volt 50 amp hour Bioeno battery. I have one in the mail coming. It's a 12 volt 30, and I also have a 12 volt 15 that would probably be enough power for everything. But just for the heck of it, I decided to put the 12 volt 50 in here. It's really not heavy at all. I might just keep it in there anyways. But yeah, here's all of our wiring. Did put nav lights on this guy, nav and interior lights, and then of course this is powering our graph. So you can see they're pretty easy clips. These clips right here, you just take these off to plug and play. Got my charger right here, so this battery can just come right out. I can put this on the shelf and charge it, or I can get an extension cord and charge it. Really easy, plug and play with these clips right here. And then I put the switch panel right here, just like I have it in California. Got interior lights, and we got nav lights. So pretty cool, little upgrade from what the Slayer Max has, but no weight to this whatsoever. So figured I might as well add the lights. Obviously, if I want to do some tournaments while I'm home, got to have the nav lights for the motor. Turn the nav lights off and keep the interior ones on. Propel drive, of course. The one thing, and I'll eventually show this to you guys if you want, but the only thing I really have to do is finish the foot steering, but I got the brackets installed on each side with the foot pegs. So I've gotten really used to foot steering. I really didn't know how I'd like foot steering with the motor on the back, but it has really made me a lot more efficient on the water. Even though using just the handle or the rudder is fine, you can turn on a dime with foot steering. You can fish hands-free with foot steering with your motor on a slow troll. Yeah, it's, again, an item that weighs next to nothing, so figured why not put it on there. So really where we're losing weight is not as much batteries, not the big captain's bridge with the 2 graphs, much less tackle trunk. Obviously we got a little black pack instead, but I'm gonna keep and utilize the items that don't weigh much to make, again, these boats are phenomenal for their size and can pack pretty much everything a big boat or a big kayak can pack as well. Got the Yak Attack double header for the paddle. Always have a paddle with me just in case. I did change the seat over to the 360 seat. I kept the junk drawer. Our junk drawer is back in action. Then of course we've got Newport, the NK 180 that I've been using here in New York. Just took that from the Slayer Max 10, put it on here, transitioned a lot of the accessories over, you'll see. The only thing that is a little different with this boat, you know, I could do this eventually, I just kind of got lazy and kind of in a time crunch, is I didn't put the wiring inside the boat. I'd have to do some more adapters and connectors, and I don't even have the parts, so it's fine for now. Keeps it right off to the side, but really just plug in the throttle, plug this into this battery. This is a 24 volt 50 amp hour Bioeno battery. Plug this in for our power. That'll power our motor. So there's our NK 180 on the back. We've got this with the pulley system right here, just like I have on the other boats. Real simple. You just pull. It'd be easier if I was sitting down, but you just lock it in place and the motor's up. Then to deploy it, just let go. And she's back down. Right here, I've got the Yak Attack Black Pack. This is where I'm gonna lose a lot of weight. Not able, nor do I want to bring a ton of tackle with me on these trips, and only 6 rod tubes back here, but this is plenty enough for me here in New York. And got just the essentials in here. My light doesn't work anymore, whatever. Oh, it does actually. Got my light here, my baits, some hard baits, and plenty of room to spare in there. And yeah. Black pack is legit. Oh, below, I've got the foam blocks right here that brings the black pack up a little bit. So this is a higher seat than the Slayer Max 10. So this being a higher seat, I think it just makes a lot more sense to have this up a little bit higher for reaching back, grabbing rods, grabbing tackle. So that's why I've got the blocks there. And then of course it's bungeed down pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Easy to install the mount, just the 4 already drilled holes or pre-drilled holes with grooves in there. Just put that mount on, NK180 went there. This is where eventually, if I decide to, I can get this wiring inside the boat, clean it up a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that. The other thing I didn't do, which I have in there for the hardware, maybe tonight, I don't know, I'm kind of running out of time and I got to do some other stuff, but I did bring a Burley Pro handle as well. So the handle's already ready, already prepped. The only thing I have to do is take this off and run the cables, the new cables back here to the rudder disc right here. Yeah, I'll have a bigger handle, but again, not too worried about that right now. I just want to go fishing. That's what I'm worried about. I want to go catch some fish. That is pretty much the boat as I did for the previous build. I'll link everything that I use, the parts and whatnot, if you guys want to give some of this a try, and I'll try my best to answer any comments or questions you guys have on the build. But again, it's simple. These kayaks, these native kayaks, are made to customize, and it's not hard to do. Yeah, guys, that is the kayak. Now all we got to do is catch some fish, slime her up. Got to brainstorm where I'm going tomorrow. I have an idea. I'm going to finish up a few more things rigging this out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Alrighty, good morning folks, here we go. I got on a little bit of a grind last night, and after I turned off the camera, basically decided to just finish the boat. So definitely not getting a lot of sleep while I'm here, but whatever. More time to fish, right? But yeah, she's done. Foot steering on, handle on, finished the electrical tape job. I just gotta turn on the water, make sure she floats. Should be good. Map, electronics are good. I think we're good, right? Even though this is the same kayak as I've been in, it's always weird, you know, taking a new boat out for the first time. You just don't know. I mean, you know, but you don't at the same time. This is good though. I'm happy with this. Like, I can tell just launching the boat, it's like significantly lighter. And oh, by the way, we're at good old canal. I think the last like 3 years I've come to New York, this is always my first stop for fishing. I always come to the trusty canal first. I really spent the first year of kayak fishing at this little canal back when I had the little green kayak, and I guess that's where you could say I really learned to kayak fish. Just got some experience, so why not come back here for the first trip every time we're back in New York. It's got fish. Of course, fishing changes every year, but historically it's always been pretty good, at least for getting numbers. No giants, but usually fish are willing to bite over here. I know I'm going to keep emphasizing this, but I mean, that's really what I want you guys to know, is how light this kayak is. I mean, it's not a Slayer Max, obviously. It's a TitanX. It's a totally different boat, but it just doesn't have like that big boat feel regarding like weight. I mean, it's perfect. Just test everything out, make sure everything works, right? Standing is good. Graph. Transducer's working. We'll see about the foot steering. Let's drop the motor down. I was kind of worried too. I don't use this stuff a whole lot, so it's kind of weird just letting it sit for a lot of the year and hoping it works when I come back. Foot steering appears to work. I think I could have gone a little bit longer on where the resting foot peg position is, but it's all good. The boat is still floating. The bird's back here. There's some bait, it seems like, maybe some carp. Black pack secured. Rods are in. Seat feels good. Drive is good. I guess I should go fishing. There's a bluegill right there. Ooh, some gills back here. That's always a good sign. Every single time. Feels so good to be back here and fish. Man, cannot beat it. See a bass right there. Oh, I see him right there. Dude, they're all suspended under these docks. I'm getting real excited. Doesn't mean they're gonna bite though. Some of these fish can be real finicky. Just like anywhere else really. If you see them, they already saw you and they're not gonna bite. But they're around. That's nice to know. Oh, what the heck happened to my hand? I don't know what I did to my finger, but whatever I did, I didn't feel it. Okay. That's random. I do always have a little tiny medical kit in here. God, this is, I don't even know how old. Eesh. How did I not feel that? That's a interesting start. Okay, let's try to catch a fish now. Can't believe we're doing this already. I've seen so many fish. Literally a fish on every single one of these docks, and they're just subsurface, like hanging around the posts. So what does that say to me? It's gotta be a wacky rig. I think these fish get a lot of pressure too, so probably educated. So might have to bust out the finesse on them. Man, that's crazy. I probably just saw 20, 30 bass, not a single bite. Let's try the other side. There we go. Dude. And that's why we love New York. Not a giant lengthwise, but just a football. Thank you, sir. See? Just fished the docks pretty thoroughly. No bites. Saw a ton of fish. Didn't take long to get bit on this side. See, these fish aren't as educated. And one's by the docks. See a lot of baits. Alright, marina number 2. I'm going to show you something. I know it's tiny, but looking at the water temp, you'll see exactly what I mean when we get to the end of this little marina towards the back. What the heck? It's like the littlest fish I've seen all day. Seen a couple of good ones in here, but definitely not as many as the first spot. What I was gonna show you, it's actually not true. It's gonna show you the water temp should have shot up drastically, but still hovering around 49. That's usually why I just jet right to these marinas on this canal. It's because the main canal is always so cold. Crystal clear water, chilly, and all these fish this time of year stacking these marinas, so you can skip a lot of water until you get further back into the canal. Start catching them on the main channel. It's a little warmer, but right next to the main lake here, and we got Seneca Lake half a mile to our right. This water is just so cold on the main channel. There's no fish. They're all in these little marinas. Must be a little fella. That's why. Almost as a scupper release. What are we on, the California Delta? Got bit. Oh, there is a fish. Wow. More of a cranky action, huh? Oh, dang it. Well, that's why. Son of a gun. Always pike in these marinas, too. toothy critters, treble baits, not a good combination. I'm gonna bust out the fish grips here. Realize he's caught. There we go. Sorry, buddy. Gorgeous fish. Yep. That's how you know you're in New York too. You're catching pike and pickerel. Schools of perch. Holy crap, look at all this perch. Oh my god, it's insane. Look at all the gills and bass. Crazy. Just so much freaking life. Dude, look at that. Oh my god, you see that? I thought that was a catfish at first. Dude, look at that. It's like a 5-pound bass just buried in the mud. The heck? There we go. Tricked one. You can foul hook this one too? You're just like swiping at it? Oh, one of the micros that's around here. There's just so many little ones out here on the main canal. Oh god dang it. Did you see that one? That was a big one. Oh man. It's weird, they're here. It's not like they're not here. They're just, I don't know. I haven't figured them out. I think the bite is tough, but just haven't figured out how to catch them yet. Dude, that is a huge fish. I don't know. Oh, I got it. Oh my god, I saw him. Giant. Oh my god, this is a giant. I saw that fish earlier. Holy crap. I think he's on a bed. Dude, I think these fish are on bed. They're just being funny. Oh my god. Come here. Oh my god. Dude. That is insane. I knew I saw that fish earlier. And he scooted away. Dude, it's like a 5-pounder, 5.5-pounder. Oh my god. Well, that makes the day a little bit better. That was crazy. I'd seen that fish earlier. I think he was on a bed. Maybe that's why these fish are acting weird. It's only 52 degrees though, water temp. You wouldn't think they're on bed, but bluegill and perch and everything up shallow and up in these marinas, I guess they could be. I mean, it is that time of year. There we go. I tricked one. Oh, drop shot tricked one big one. Definitely not the majority. See, there's a fish like this on every single dock. They're just being real funny. Dude, healthy fish, man. So healthy. Man, oh man. It's crazy to think, like, in these marinas right now, there's probably a 30-pound bag. They're just so fat and healthy. Just about anywhere in the Finger Lakes you go, you'll find fish like this. That's the beauty of it. Alrighty, made the run back to where we started, where we launched. Let's see if these fish have woken up a little bit. I don't know. I see him swimming over there. That's the crazy thing. I can see him from here, underneath this thing. Dude, why are you guys not biting? I got one. A little one of the bunch. That right there may have ruined the school though, you know? They either see me or see one of their buddies get caught and then they get all suspicious. Got one, tricked one. Dude, there are so many fish just sitting under this thing, it's wild. Seen a couple of 4 or 5 pounders in there though, like some real big ones. Alright, getting some bonus fish here at the end. I really wonder how many fish are sitting under this thing. Just finally happy I tricked one. Got a tricked one. No chatter. A slobber. Is that what you guys want? I'm just sitting here looking at like 5 pounders looking at me. There are some like giants down there. They almost look like little carp. God, dude, I think I figured out how to catch it. These are the ones that have been staring at me, teasing me. Alright, glad I didn't leave just yet. I'm not saying this is like gonna catch all these fish, but I think I finally figured out a way to trick them. Dude, they want this thing. It's just an area I went through with the drop shot and a bunch of other baits. Just a matter of finding the right bait. Not gonna catch them all, but picking up these bonus fish. Alrighty guys, that is going to do it for the maiden voyage in the native watercraft TitanX 10.5. Whew, it was about time. After flying from California to New York, picking up a U-Haul, driving to get the kayak, spending all day, all night, getting it outfitted, rigged up. It felt good to finally get it out on the water. Of course, anytime I put a new boat out on the water, I'm a little apprehensive just because you never know what could happen or whatnot, but everything went literally perfect today. The boat felt great, even though we did a lot of custom work to it. We didn't add a lot of weight to this kayak. It really is essentially everything I just had on the Slayer Max 10 onto this new platform. Yeah, got here this morning, launched the kayak. As I mentioned, I came here because I've got some history here. Usually it's always my first fishing trip when I get back in New York, and it holds a lot of fish too. And I think that was very apparent today, at least from what I could see. There were so many fish piled up in these marinas. The only problem was they were a little finicky, and I don't know if it was necessarily pressure or what, but I do have a suspicion that it was the conditions, the weather. It has been raining quite a bit. It's been quite cold, and I know that before I got here they were having some really nice weather, and I think this cold snap really shocked these fish. I mean, the water temps were only like 53, 54. Only caught one good one on the jig, so that was good. Then I followed up with a little tiny one. Eventually decided to give up, cover some new water. I went to the next marina down. I think I picked up a couple there, including the bonus northern pike. Not only are these areas where these fish spawn, but I mean, you can see how many brim and bluegill and panfish these little areas attract, and I mean, that's the forage. I mean, there's certainly bait fish, but those tiny little bluegill, panfish, those bass, and those northern pike know they're there and they munch on them. Ended up leaving the second marina and went down to the third marina. Again, just seeing a fish on like literally every dock. There'd actually usually be 2 or 3 fish on each dock, but I did see one way up shallow, kind of on the back side of the dock where you really wouldn't think there'd be a fish. Got close to it, spooked away, kind of made a mental note, and then eventually I circled back around. I saw that fish from a distance, threw the jig in there. I didn't even know it bit. I just saw my line swim off. I set the hook. Fish had me wrapped around the other side of the dock. I got super lucky, it didn't break me off. It decided to be nice, swim back underneath the dock, get me untangled. That was the highlight of the day. One of the big catches of the year for me. That fish was awesome to catch. Did end up slowing down, picked up a drop shot, caught a few more, kind of dinked around a little bit, and then made my way back to where I launched this marina, picked up a few more on the drop shots, and then some bonus fish at the end. I kind of talked about those bluegill, those panfish being forage around these bass. I didn't throw the bladed jig too much today, so I decided to pick up the bladed jig and throw it in areas where I knew these fish were and just slowly wind it in. Got some bonus fish at the end, including a couple of solids, so the bladed jig, the old slobber knocker, had me leaving here with a smile. A tough day, still able to get some bites still. I mean, a tough day in New York is still pretty dang good, but this was definitely one of the tougher days I've fished this little stretch, this little canal. But guys, super happy with how the kayak performed. A bunch more days of fishing here in New York, and I don't know exactly where we'll go. There are so many options and they're all like 30 minutes away, so definitely a little spoiled when I'm in New York, but definitely a lot of fun. As always, guys, I thank you for watching, for coming along on this New York trip, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.